Hello and welcome to another episode of Laptop Retrospective, and today we have this 14-inch ThinkPad. Now, this is the L14 Gen 2, and this came out in January of 2021. And it came in two primary physical configurations, both in black, one with a polycarbonate lid and one with an aluminum lid. Now, the aluminum lid adds a fair bit of weight. That machine weighs 1.74 kilos. Whereas the polycarbonate ABS is 1.59 kilos. We are equipped with 11th gen Intel Core i5, i3, i7, and even a low-end Pentium version, and I'll put those up on the screen for you. But we are going to turn our attention toward the screen itself on this device. So we do have 14-inch panels here. Now, unfortunately, you can get these in a 1366 by 768 TN panel, which I would wholeheartedly avoid. 220 nits only, and a significantly less impressive 400:1 contrast ratio. The nicer panels are the 250 nit 920 by 1080 IPS displays that are 700:1. You can also get it in a touch, 10-point touch, 300 nit 700:1 contrast ratio. And then lastly, you can get a 400 nit 800:1. And that would be my preference because I really like color accuracy. You see, the first three panels I listed are only 45% NTSC, where at least the 400 nit display is 72%. Still not 100 though, so if you are doing graphical work where color accuracy matters, you are going to want to take that into consideration. In terms of GPUs, we had Intel UHD or Iris Xe graphics for integrated options depending on the CPU. And then some machines have a NVIDIA GeForce MX 450 2GB dedicated card with just a little bit of extra oomph. RAM is a good news story on this with a 64GB maximum, 2 sticks of 32, DDR4 3200 MHz. Hard drive or SSD configurations is either one 2.5-inch bay or 2280 caddy. This will support up to 4G LTE. All of this is being driven by a 45 watt-hour battery. So let's take a look at some ports and features. On the left-hand side of the machine, we do have our power plug here, which is USB Type-C 3.2 Gen 1. We have a Thunderbolt 4 port built into kind of the docking solution here. We have USB-A 3.2 Gen 1. We have HDMI 2.0, a micro SD card slot, and then a full-size Ethernet jack. Over here, this would be the optional smart card reader if it was equipped. Along the back, we have absolutely nothing. And then along the right-hand side, we have the Kensington lock slot, a fan exhaust, USB Type-A 3.2 Gen 1, and a headphone microphone combo jack. A few other things to note on these things as we open it up. Fingerprint readers were optional. Backlit keyboard is optional, so check for the pictogram to see if yours comes with it. And then up at the top, we do have a web camera with Think Shutter. And if you see an additional hole beside it, that means that you have the infrared camera for Windows Hello, which is one of my favorite modern laptop features for easy and quick login. The fingerprint reader would be located on the palm rest if it is included. NFC is also an option that was available. So let's turn this thing over and take off the back cover and see just how upgradable this device is. We will need a Phillips screwdriver to spin out the screws. And there we have it. We are on the inside. So we'll just clear this stuff down and we'll bring this nice and close up to the camera for you to see. And it's a lot of good news. Unlike some of the more expensive options where they actually soldered on the Wi-Fi card, it is removable and socketed. So that means the Wi-Fi card can be upgraded. Over here under the shield is where our WLAN card would go. And then we have two RAM slots. Looks like we've got an HP RAM chip in there, and then nothing in the second one. This is our 42 watt hour battery taking up a huge chunk of the bottom. And we can see the telltale signs right over here of what is obviously the CMOS battery wire, because it's red and white, or red and black. So that tells me if I want to replace that, I need to remove this battery, which is just, I think, 2 screws there, maybe one at the bottom. We have 2 downward firing speakers, a pretty decently sized cooling solution that's going to suck air in from the bottom of the machine and blow it out to the right. And it looks like we have a few what could be called daughter boards. So this USB-A and headphone microphone combo jack is on its own independent board. And then we have a board over here, but we don't have any connectivity on that side of the machine, so I'm not entirely sure what it's doing. So here is the caddy for the 2280 drive. You can see that it appears to be all one piece attached to the actual motherboard itself. So that's good to know that configuring these machines retroactively to swap from one to the other doesn't appear like it's going to be possible. It looks as though if you want 2280 in the slot and you have a 2.5-inch configuration, you're not going to necessarily be able to do that. Maybe you can do it with an upgrade kit, but you're definitely not going backwards the other way, although I don't know why you would want to. So that's pretty much it for the inside of the machine. Not too bad if we need to do any work. Let's put this case back on, start this thing up, and see what we get for some boot times. Alright, now that we have all those screws in place, let's go ahead and turn this thing on. Alright, color me impressed. That is an excellent boot time. And if we take a look at our specs, so we are the i5 1135 G7 and 16 gigs of RAM, and it looks like we might just have a standard display here, which is, you know, perfectly fine. All this taken into consideration, these machines on the used market start at around the 400 Canadian dollar mark and up. And if you are not super concerned with a couple of concessions like primarily plastic case, a set of screen options that doesn't cover any 100% color accuracy options, there is still an awful lot to like. We have a socketed Wi-Fi card, we've got 2 RAM slots on the inside, 11th gen Intel solutions. The battery at 45 watt hours is around average for a machine of this size. Sometimes you can get up to 52 or 57, but of course that usually means a much more compact board and less serviceable components. So you do have to gamble with these things from time to time. Overall though, pretty solid machine if you just needed a reliable computer with a little bit of room to grow if you didn't configure it at the top end when you found it, or if the one that you purchased didn't have all the bells and whistles. At any rate, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this and it was helpful to you. Make sure that you're leaving comments in the comment section down below, and I'll leave some YouTube stuff here for you to click on to help support the channel. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.